So this short video is an overview of the upcoming webinar that Paul will do here regarding a new approach to your resume. And Paul will discuss what should be included and not included, and go into some detail about how to get more interviews. So as you well know, your resume can make or break your job search, so register for the webinar below at register.paulconverycareercoaching.com. So let's walk through this short video on what the webinar will cover. As you well know, the world of work is changing rapidly, and an approach to your job search is taking many twists and turns. An important part of your job search strategy is to have a resume that is going to garner you more interviews and more job offers. Again, as you well know, your resume can make or break your job search and diminish or enhance your chances of securing your dream job. The traditional resume formats and the information in those resumes is fast becoming irrelevant, and new approaches emerging and garnering success. And this is again an overview of the upcoming webinar that Paul is going to do here about a new approach, and it is a new approach for your resume. So in the webinar, Paul's going to do a deep dive on what you should put into your resume. For instance, on the opening statement, what should be in the opening statement? Accomplishment, provide a high-level overview of your top 4 or 5 accomplishments. Core competencies, a list of these competencies. Leadership principles, recommendations, and professional work experience, and your education and training. So in the webinar, Paul will open these up and go into these things in much detail, and we would like to have a robust discussion on some of these subjects that we're talking about here. That's part of the idea of the webinar, is to go into these in detail. As you can probably see, this new approach to your resume takes on a marketing and sales focus, as the object of your resume is to sell your skills and experience to the marketplace and to secure an interview. The new approach to your resume is geared towards different target audiences, ensuring that you are satisfying the requirements of those different target audiences when you apply to a specific job. In the next few slides, we'll look at some recommendations that Paul's received, and in some of these recommendations we can also, on the webinar, we can talk about some of the things that people talk about here in these with these recommendations to Paul. And again, here in this recommendation, it's interesting that this person thought he had an above average resume, but after the first 15 minutes of the call, he knew that he had hired the right guy. So again, more recommendations for Paul here. Another recommendation for Paul, and talking about learning what recruiters are looking for. So again, in the webinar, we'll go over some of these issues in the webinar. So again, this is a quick overview of the upcoming webinar. And again, you can register here and pay for the upcoming webinar at register.paulconverycareercoaching.com. Paul is the owner of One World Consulting Group, and he's got 2 websites, One World Consulting Group and One World Executive Search, as you can see on the slide. Paul brings 15 years of experience as a recruiter, career coach, business owner, vice president, and managing director who connects people to opportunities in businesses to world-class consultants.